All right, my peoples, we are all energy converters. Today we want to break down mental conversion or energy conversion, how to convert energy, which is nothing but mental focus, discipline, and order. So how do we take whatever frequency, wave, or vibration that is being emitted and sent to us, could be positive, it could be negative, but we want to convert it into usable frequency, usable energy. It's almost kind of like the Cadillac converters that's in an automobile. So the way that the Cadillac converters in automobiles work is exhaust comes in, it's neutralized, cleansed, it's converted, and then into breathable or good, supposedly air, and it goes out. And it's interesting because inside of these Cadillac converters is, different materials, specifically palladium, because it's a good converter of energy. But there's a lot of different types of mechanical devices that convert one type of energy into another frequency or another type of energy. But today we're talking about this energy conversion from a spiritual perspective as we continue to prepare for 2024, because we're here now. So the energy that's been sent is the energy of the 8. So we are converting the energy or taking energy that's from above, and we are converting it at the plane of inertia. So there is a plane of inertia. That's where the circle at the top meshes or meets the circle at the bottom. These two circles, these two frequencies, these two waves, these two verbs or vibrations, they meet at the plane of inertia. And at this specific plane is where the conversion takes place, which brings about the transformation of this entity or this energy on this plane, this flat plane of inertia. And inertia is just another word for existence, or another word for energy. So each and every person, we have a certain amount of energy, and that energy has been released. But what we're talking about is really external energy today. On this flat plane of inertia is where this ability for the law of inertia, which is how we frame what it is that we want to manifest. So each and every person has a longitudinal and a horizontal. Remember we talked about these 3 planes of existence? And we were talking about that like 2 or 3 shows ago, because it's at this 3D, this horizontal, this vertical, and this longitudinal axis. It determines how steering, if you want that term, it determines the direction, if you want that term, by which the energy takes place. Meaning that you can change its velocity. You can change the way that the energy or what that unit of inertia or energy was used for. So someone can send a frequency, wave, or vibration that is meant for evil, but it can be converted. It can be transmuted. It can be changed at the plane of inertia into something for good. So we all have this, I'm going to use the word ability. We all have this power to affect or to change how energy is being used through something called the sympathetic resonance. And so this resonance that is being sent, if you are able to be sympathetic to this specific resonance, you literally convert that negative into a positive when you are able to wrap your brain around the fact that you have this energy transmutation device called your mind. So your brain is so powerful that you literally can take whatever frequency, wave, or vibration that may be meant for one thing, you can change its meaning to another thing. It's just like dead Phoenicians. They're dead, but you can transmute that definition into another definition or definition, because it is done unto you as you define. So you define or you determine based upon this plane of inertia. Now remember, the plane of inertia is where all three places meet, and you determine which direction that they go. So that's the Trinity. Trinity meets on a flat plane, if you will. If you look at how the laws of physics work and interact. And so everything takes place or meets on this flat plane. We live on a quote unquote flat plane. We live on Earth. Now, as I mentioned and talked about before, they manipulate the point of focus by manipulating time. So we need extraordinary information if we want to be extraordinary frequencies, waves, or vibrations, because there is a selected point of focus. That's the point by which the horizontal, the and the vertical lines, for lack of a better term, meet. So you determine, based upon how you perceive, overstand the planes of inertia. Now you've got to remember that we're talking about longitudinal, horizontal, and vertical axis. Three, the Trinity in one. It collapses on a specific point on a flat plane. We live on a plane ET. We live on an extraterrestrial flat plane. And there is a point in time that you collapse based upon your design. But the point has been hijacked through Saturnalia or Saturn or Satan. They figured out how to hijack your frame of reference. So now you've been reframed. It's like taking a picture out of a frame and putting it in another frame. So framing, when you understand let's use the word, psychology, if you will, behind what we call framing. So everybody on this call, you see the world as you are. It's weird because when we talk about the psychology behind the science of framing your thoughts, like, because I am a perfectionist, so when I perceive you as perfection. Another thing that I've learned that I had to change about myself is I perceive intent. So I believe that everybody, when they do something, I used to project my perfectionism onto you. So that means if you made a mistake, I didn't see it as a mistake. I see it as an intentional, well-planned, well-thought-out act to hurt, harm, and defraud me. So immediately, it could just be an accident. But in my brain, because I'm a planner, I'm a schemer, if I do something, it's not by accident. I'm planning it. So I had to change that. Now, the old me, I'm talking about the old me 30 years ago, which is why I got into the science of understanding human behavior and framing. Because when you get into the psychology behind framing, it really changes the entire molecular structure of the brain. And so the effect of framing cannot be really put into the English language, because we do not see the world and we do not see other people as they are. We see other people as we are. And so that totally changes reality. That's the power that you have, because you are already, past tense, being and doing energy conversion. You are converting energy right now. You converting it into a negative. We don't know who you are, but whoever you are. So the quest that we are embarking upon today, if I can unknowingly convert, that means that I can knowingly convert. So right now you're already doing it. So it's like you might as well get paid. You might as well convert energy by understanding the psychology behind framing. And since we are already framing things negatively, most of us, some of us, why not understand the effects of framing, and why not frame it positively? That's the way that we see the world. We unknowingly, usually, project our belief system onto energy, because everybody's energy. Everything's energy. So when you do something, for me, and this was one of the hardest things I had to learn when it comes to success, I had to totally change the way that I see the world by changing the way that I see myself. And once I was able to over and understand the science behind how the way I departmentalize or frame you. So you could do something, and in my brain, you spent 6 months planning to be late. In my brain, if I did a class or a show and I text you the time and you didn't show up, that means that you didn't show up because you purposely are trying to send me a subconscious message. So yeah, I'm gonna get Brother Will. I'm gonna hit him where it hurts. So my brain would automatically go left and say, "Oh, I gotta get you back." And so there's this energy ping pong game, and I was pretty good at playing energy ping pong. And most of you high vibrational, like keep it honest, probably still playing energy ping pong. Somebody piss you off, you piss them off. They piss you off, you piss them off. It's like in relationships. It's very interesting because that's called emotional dumping. So I'm going to emotionally dump on you. Now, again, people who do this had this done to them. 99.99999% of the time, people who engage in emotional dumping, people who engage in, this behavior, they usually do it unknowingly because they had it done to them. It's an energy. That's why my heart goes out. That's why I have so much patience with people that are in a low vibrational state based upon the ability to use the plane of inertia to convert how they perceive their reality. Because you can't change reality. You can only change yourself. So you can't go from being rich to poor. You can only convert energy so that way you perceive poor as rich. Once you change your perception, and then your reality changes. You can't be healthy. You can just change your perception of being sick. You can change the definition of the word sick. And by changing the definition of the word, now you're making a word deposit into the word bank that's going to take the word, and in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word became flesh and started to walk around among men. So that means that your words will change your reality. But you got to hold on to the word. You literally got to embody the word. That's how you convert energy. We are energy converters when we change our frame. So everybody has a mental accounting system. And the way that you mentally account for what is called a loss, it depends upon, again, how you process the event. And so we all have a information processing disorder, because we don't see source, we see the devil. How can there be a devil if there's only one source? So the only way there could be unlimited chi, the source of all entities or energy, is one. There ain't two, there ain't three. Hero Israel, the Lord your God is one. So how do we account? How do we make sense of all of these other gods? How do we account for all of these other frequencies? How do we account for all of these other waves, all of these other vibrations? How is that possible? If there is only, and there is, contrary to popular belief, there's only one frequency, there's only one wave, there's only one verb, there's only one vibration. E pluribus unum on the back of your dollar bill. Out of one comes many. So what they are doing is they're using a fractal reserve system. That's why we have fractal banking. The whole system is a manipulation of the one power. It is a manipulation. It's a clever, however, manipulation because it's just been working since the beginning of time, technically. So Lucine Far, if you want to use that term, doesn't exist. But it does exist because what happened is what we call, some anyway, call personal power. What some call your ability to exercise free will is the ability to take something that is good and use it for something that's bad. You're already doing it. You are already converting energy right now. Why? You got something in your house that you're using it for something that is not designed to use. You got a hammer somewhere in your house right now, and you're using it to prop your door up. You got something, you got a lamp on your desk, but it's not turned on. You're not using it for its purpose. You got, a butter knife that you're trying to use as a steak knife. You're already converting something. You're not using it according to its original intent. Bam, that's energy conversion. So we all are doing it. It's just usually below the threshold of our consciousness. 99.99% of the time, it's just below the level of our awareness. It's below the level of our design. So my job and your job is to do what? To be conscious now, to be conscious creators. Because I'm already converting energy. I'm already taking something that was meant for one thing, but I'm using it for something else. And I'm already changing it. The dominant culture has been doing it. It's called genetically modified. I can take sugar cane and turn it into processed sugar. That's not the original intent of sugar cane. But because processed sugar is not good for you, sugar cane is. So any type of plant or fruit, fructose versus glucose or sucrose or all of the other, stuff that they convert, they are converting it. So they are manipulating the original intent. The original intent of sugar cane was something positive. But it's been used for something negative. They are converting. And the best way, the fastest way, the easy way is to change the definition of it. Because we live in a world that uses a world bank. You got to make a world deposit, and you use words to create worlds. I do it every day. You can. If you're not doing it, you should be doing it. So today's message is for you to understand, like we said yesterday, the day before, okay, there is a way by which we interpret high vibrational. In other words, I can do something positive right now, and you could change it to something negative. I could say grand rising, and you could perceive that as something negative. And it's done unto you as you perceive. It's not done unto me as I intend. That's why I don't buy the narrative of hiding, being afraid, being a secret, doing covert shit. Can't nobody do nothing to you unless you let them. So that's why none of the witches shit and all that stuff, a lot of people who had and have evil intent towards me. Some of it just justifiably so. Like when I was younger, dumber, and stupider, I did a lot of stupid stuff, like we all have. But that wasn't my intent, but it was interpreted that way. Like my grandmother used to say, boy, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So a lot of people have good intentions, but what happens to all those good intentions? They bring about a negative effect. But you can neuter negative intent by having a positive disposition. So what do I mean? Just by walking around being positive, that's not going to stop a criminal from hurting, harming, and defrauding you. But what will stop a criminal from hurting, harming, and defrauding you is your inner chi. Criminals, they don't attack high vibrational alkebalons. They don't. Why not? Because they know the art of deception is not used on you. How come? Well, you have something called a sixth sense. Criminals don't attack people that have a sixth sense. They only attack people that are green, they're gullible, that are ignorant to their own power. Why? It's like going into somebody's house with the front door open versus the front door being locked. Criminals will ride around and find a garage door open at 2 a.m. in the morning because you forgot to close it. That's the home invasion. 99.9% of the time, they ain't going to just bust down your front door. Too much energy, too much effort. Now, if they thirsty and they have to, okay. But even still, the energy of the home. So I was having a conversation with a client this morning, and we were talking about con men. Like a con artist, a professional con artist. Can you spot a professional con artist? Do you know when you've been conned or being conned? Do you know when you are being manipulated? Do you know when you are being taken advantage of? The good con men, like I tell you guys, the professionals, the real professionals, they don't get caught. How come? Like the inmates told me, they can pass any lie detector test because they convince themselves that the lie is the truth. How? Well, they use different definitions. So if you're not specific, if you don't have focus, discipline, and order, what is your definition of stealing? So you hook me up to lie detector. Have you ever stolen things? No, I have not. Ever? Not ever. Because my definition of stealing is different. So lie detector test doesn't pick it up. Because I'm going to define the word so that way the things that I took, they don't meet your definition. Because you program, that's how the lie detectors work. They program the machine to pick up your energy inflections, because when you honestly, authentically are lying, the energy in your body changes. So you have to, that's what confidence is. That's what selling is. Selling is confidence. I have to be able to use my intention. But my intention must be authentic. So long as I honestly, authentically believe that I'm not hurt, harming, and defrauding anyone, I didn't come on this call with the intent to hurt, harm, or defraud. So if it happens, it wasn't because I intended it to happen. So that gets into some whole other hidden dynamics that manipulates intent. That's what money is. Money is nothing but intent that is held together despite what you and I call obstacles. Because as we talked about yesterday and the day before, the mind is designed to navigate to the highest timeline automatically. The only way that your mind does not automatically gravitate to your design is if you got something called a energy block, an electrical magnetic blockage. That's an emotion. Right now you got feelings. You believe. I don't know what you believe, but I know you believe in something that's not true. Otherwise, none of us would be on this call. I would be out of a job because I can't bring awareness to you because you already got it. So that's the con men feed on people that lack awareness. If you got total awareness, that's what September means. I'm born in the month of total awareness. That's why you got to be damn good to calm me. I mean, you got to be. It got to be like you got to be down there, Lucifer. And even Lucifer, he got to bring it. He got to be on his best game. Because what is a con? A con means that something is happening in your life. You clueless. You don't know fucker. You don't know what's going on. When I'm getting conned, I never stop the con. I just let it roll. Because a con man or woman, unless they are an ex-cop, they're the best. Man, hello. Those are the gods of this world. Because why? They understand deviant behavior. They understand criminal behavior. So they do profiling. That's where I learned it from. As a criminal profiler, I had the ability to put myself in other people's shoes. Now, I didn't really need the class. I could have taught the class. So when they was going through, they were teaching the class, I was like, okay, I already do that. I do that. I've been doing that shit since 5. So I didn't learn nothing new. All I did was just validate what I was already doing. So I can put myself in somebody else's shoes. I have something called empathy. I'm an empath. So are you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call. Only empaths can really, really, truly connect with me. You got to be an empathic. You got to be on the E empath. You are on the sodium and potassium pump. That means your sodium and potassium, it activates the feli in your gut. You get a feeling. You pick up shit. Now, you probably, like I used to be, don't believe it. You're like, nah, man, he don't. She don't. You know, like in relationships, everybody, we all do it. We're in a relationship with people that we know damn well we should be in a relationship with because they ain't going the same direction you going. But what do? We're like, well, shit, it's either this or be single. So you're like, okay, come on, Johnny, let's go. Or come on, Jim Bob, we all do it. I did it, you do it, everybody do it. Because you're going to wait around for your vibrational equivalent. Shit, you're going to be 80 years old by the time you find it. If you ever find it. So we all, quote unquote, settle. Or we believe we can change them. Now, the beautiful thing is what? Acceptance is love. So all of the things that me and my wife don't agree on, I create space for her to continue and not change. Real love is when you get to the point where you realize, okay, if they like it, I love it. They ain't got shit to do with it. Accept it. It means that you allow space for them to be them until them being them affects you being you. As long as they grant you the same grace that you grant them, shit, we good, bro. We can do this till Jesus come back and leave again. But the moment that your grace invades my space, oh, we got an issue now. Then you start taking applications. Because that means that now you're not practicing the golden rule. You're not doing unto me as you would have done to me. That's energy transmutation. See, the ability to transmute energy is just you understanding yourself and you allowing other people space to understand themselves. So what you're doing now is you're taking that energy that normally would cause division. Because most people, like I talk to, like some of the counseling sessions, first thing I ask a woman, especially if she's single, is write down everything that you want in a man. And then when they write it down, I say, take the list, tear it up, throw it away. Then I ask, write down everything that you don't like in yourself. Like, write down everything that you don't like in yourself. So they write it down, now take that list and I throw it away. Okay, now you're ready for a relationship. Because what blocks relationships? The ability to relate to other people. What I was talking about yesterday, if you remember yesterday's show, at the end of the day, like somebody who's rich, you know what they don't like? If they're really rich, they don't like to be treated special. Because then they start to think, why is this person treating me special? They know I got money and they want my money. And so what do? You separate yourself from them. Now remember, I learned this from my daughter Samora. She was like, Dad, I'm not, don't treat me like I got epilepsy. This is called neurogenesis. God in you, the hope of glory. Christ, that's the whole point of this show and every show that I do. To show you that you are Christ. You are. So what makes life so busy that you can't use your own neurogenesis? Genesis. You can't be you. You can't be the genesis of your neurons. You can't be the God in you. You got to look for a God outside of you. What happens if you become the God in you? Well, you become a sun, an S-U-N. Suns send out warmth and information. So what I'm doing is I'm very pleasing and easy to talk to, and I'm sharing information. So I'm a sun. The moment that you become warm, now some of us, we're not approachable. You're not warm and pleasing. Now that's a fine line too, because you could be, flirty and charming. It's not bad, but people are going to perceive it like this nigga trying to get in my panties. Now that may not be true, but the whole point of it is, at the highest level, you're not trying to get in nobody's panties, because if you want the panties, you would get the panties. That's not the goal. What is the goal then? To be warm. That means approachable. That means lovable, because everybody wants to be loved, valued, and respected. So we got to be what it is that we want to get. That's how relationships work. So a relationship is not going to work when you think something's wrong with you. Because then the person that you meet, they're going to think something's wrong with you. Why? Because you sing out the energy that says, I'm flawed. Who wants to date a flawed person? So we're going to keep looking for that person that's perfect, even though perfection doesn't exist, but acceptance does. So yeah, I ain't going to change me. Man, you got to accept me like I am, or you can kick rocks. That's the secret to life. That's how I converted energy. So a con man knows that. But the only difference between me and a con man, now remember, I'm a retired con man. A con man is somebody who comes into the awareness that, damn, I can take advantage of people. That's why I got out of law enforcement. Because I realized, shit, I got a badge and a gun. And my personality, because that's why I got out of preaching and religion. Because damn, I got a collar, I got a Bible, and I got a title. I got a term of endearment. I got a title that says, bow down. And so I got a title that makes other people vibrationally subservient. I don't want you to be subservient to me. I don't want you to look up to me. I don't want you to look down either. I want you to look me in the eyeballs. Because why? We brothers. We sisters. I ain't better than you, but I damn sure ain't worse than you. So we got a conundrum. The conundrum is the last vestures of white power and white supremacy is fighting to hold on. It's like there's a war going on for a supreme state. There is the royals. There are the haves. They need the have-nots. There's the ruling class, but I need some working class. So there's still a war. There's still a few people, the old guard, that says we need peasants. Everybody cannot be priest. Well, everybody can be a priest. Because we don't need peasants. Because we're all priests. We're all gods. We're all goddesses. In our own right. In our own lane. So I got a lane. You got a lane. So there is one body, but there's many members. Remember the Bible talks about that. Christ is the head. There's, we're all members. We're all members of the body of Christ, so to speak. So we are all members of a one body. There's only one. That's neurogenesis. That's God in you. That's Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yahshua or Yeshua. And there's all these different names. Simply means Christ is born in you. Then he's resurrected by you. That's what the resurrection means. The resurrection means that you transmute negative energy, sinner, into positive energy, saint. That's why you're here. You're here to learn that you ain't a sinner. They don't exist. There's no such thing as a sinner. There's no such thing as sin. There's only events. There's only experiences that you say you need to have so that way you can learn that you're not a sinner. It's crazy. It's like, well, God is like, well, this nigga will believe that something's wrong with him, so let him go on a journey to fix himself. It's like the Wizard of Oz. If you watch the Wizard of Oz, and from a metaphysical perspective, your whole life would change. If you understand the Wizard of Oz, it was all on the yellow brick road, on their way to see the wizard, They encountered all of these issues and problems, the wicked witch of the West, when they finally get to the wizard told them that everything that they're looking for, they already got. Damn. That's the whole purpose of being on the planet. You are here on this earth right now. You listen to me right now, and you think that blank. Whatever you think. What are you thinking? We all think that, damn, Doc, I need to do this New Year, man, even though it's not till March and April, but let's study for another time. We believe that, oh, shit, I got to win the lottery, man. If I could just win the lottery. Shit, if I could just lose 30 pounds. Man, as soon as I get my degree, brother, I'm with you. As soon as I get my dream boo-boo, it's going to make my life perfect. Right now, I don't, being single sucks or being married sucks or whatever perceived problem that you think you have, that shit's in your brain. It's all man and woman made. But nobody can go into your brain and change you to another lane. You got to do it. That's the beauty of the system. I could talk to Jesus, come back and leave again. Still, that shit that's in your brain, it's going to stay in there until you decide that, you know what, I don't want to be in this lane anymore. And it's crazy because it's easy, but it's not simple. Life is easy, but it's not simple. The crazy thing is life is that everybody has expectations. And as I mentioned before, manifesting means that, when you get frustrated and angry and you quit, you just stop your manifestation. That's crazy to me because guess what? We all get to a certain point and we're like, man, like in the military, I never thought I'd run 3 miles in less than 18 minutes, which is the Marine Corps you got to do. I never thought I could do 60 sit-ups in 60 seconds, which again, that's what you got to do. And I never thought I could do, 20 pull-ups. Now they got the Crucible, they got other things to test here, but back in the day when I was in, that was called a PFT. That was a physical fitness test. And you have to pass it, otherwise they kick your ass out. Now, I don't know if you ever ran a 6-minute mile. If you don't believe me, go out there right now. It's 4 laps, find a track. 4 laps around is 1 mile. Try to run 1 mile under 6 minutes. And then think about running 3. Now, that's to my knowledge, that's when I was in. No other branch of service has that test. It's a whole different physical fitness level. And when I went in, I was a sprinter and a football player. I wasn't a long distance dude. Now you put me in a 40-yard dash, 100-yard dash, I'm good. I'm gonna smoke you, bro. But I ain't, miles, plural, more than one, nah. So I had a belief system. Yeah, I graduated. It was me, my brother, and my best friend Billy Ray. All of us, we scored a perfect score on our test out of like 600 other Marines in our whole battalion. If you'd have told me that when I was in high school, I would have told you you was on drugs. But I hated running long distance. I've been running ever since because I learned how to change my perception. I always had the ability, but my brain limited the expression. You already got money, but your brain limiting the experience. You are already in perfect health, but your brain is stopping you from experiencing perfect health. You already got all knowledge and access to it, but your brain, your belief, doesn't allow you to experience the benefits of all knowledge. You're already in a relationship with your dream boo-boo, but your brain is limiting your experience. You have it, but you can't experience it. It's like you got a refrigerator full of food, but it got a lock on it, and you ain't got the key. It's one of those glass, like the refrigerator I got, has a glass front where you can see in. But guess what? Looky, no touchy. It's like having your dream boo-boo. She's standing there buck naked, and you like, man, it's been a while, and you looking at her, but you can't touch her. Now that's torture. That's why most Negroes is pissed the fuck off. Why? Because you are in a world with all of this candy, all these cars and houses and all of this stuff, but you can't have it. It's for the ruling class. Because you believe you're a working class. So I went over to the ruling class. And when I got over there, I was extremely disappointed. I literally thought that, really, for me, because the ruling class was white folks. And I got to hang out with them. And I'm like, damn, their environment, most of the relationships was worse or the same as most black folks. And then I realized that, hold up. So how are they still on top to this day? Y'all see, just read that the Supreme Court ruled that nobody could sue Joe Biden for the jab. I was reading it in Natural News with my boy, Mike Adams, who does a lot of, real news. And the Supreme Court that made it that no company or individual can sue Biden, again, federal government workers, military workers, because they were forced to take the jab. Active duty military was forced. First thing they did to my son when he went in, they gave him the jab. It was forced. They didn't have it. They could not opt out. No federal White House, if you opt out, you lost your job. So now that everybody knows the jab, well, I ain't gonna say everybody. Some of us know that the jab was not very benevolent. So obviously some people in the military and federal workers was like, man, Biden, because remember, he's the chief, he's the head guy at the end of the day. So they're like, shit, we're going to. So they start filing lawsuits. 3 of them in particular, and he names them and he talks about the lawsuits in the article. Well, the Supreme Court came out and said, y'all can't sue Biden, the commander-in-chief, even though he commanded that you do it. So does that make you, if you was active duty military or if you was a federal worker and you took the jab, then you found that the jab is messing up your DNA and you came or got upset, you would want to take some type of recourse. But if that recourse is taken away from you, you are left with your feelings. So you got to transmute that. You have to transmute your feelings. That's the point of the class. So now the question is, how do you transmute your feelings? But you got to look at, okay, how do I find a silver lining in that dark cloud? The beautiful thing is you got to go into and do some of the research that I've done, which allows you to reverse the effects of a jab. So remember, it's like there's always, so the people that happens to, some of them may feel like they have no recourse, but you do. Well, there is a will, there is a way. Thankfully, my name is Will. So I always know there's a way. No matter what I'm up against, I always know there's a way. It may just take me a little what is called 2 things, really 3, that everybody on this call have to be a god or a goddess. And you should start using them today. The 3 things that you have that some people have but they ain't using, that brings about what is called neurogenesis, the ability to use your genes, your genesis to change your neurons. Because this is neuro, soon to be computer chip, a neurological computer chip, because they're combining high tech with biology. So you got what? Energy. So the dominant culture got to figure out, that's why they gave you the jab, so they can control your energy with sound. They turn on the 5G, what's it do? Fucks up your cheek. That's why they're doing it. The next thing that you got to the dominant culture is already doing is they got you in a Greco-Roman system. That you believe that there's 12 months. And we believe that January is the new year. So that they got us. How did they get us though? Energy, time, and then the smoking gun. That, remember, this is the only difference between you and rich people. Information. See, I'm an infoologist. That's why you're here. As I say on every show, I got $100,000 if you can prove me wrong. Why? Because I would rather put a bullet in my own head than to sit up here and give you more dumbed down information. You can get that shit off the internet. You can go to your pastor, your preacher, call your family members. You can get bad information anywhere. So why would I charge you for the same shit that you can find off the internet or bad information? So in 2024, I got $100,000 and everything I'm sharing with you, you can't find on the internet. Now, I've been got it. Because remember, I already know what you're going to do. You're going to research the etymology of it. You're going to go but you're going to stop at first base. I don't stop at first base. Second base, third base, fourth base, fifth base, sixth base. I go to infinity and beyond. So I go back to singularity. I keep researching it until I get back to bliss. I get back to source. So everything I research, it always takes me off the planet. Because Saturn controls all of the information on this planet. So I already know I have to go off the grid to get information. I cannot find what I'm looking for on the internet. Because I know they created the internet. Garbage in, garbage out. So I already know that. So most people start. Now, I ain't saying I'm not saying do it. No, I'm not saying no. Don't start there. I just make sure that you don't build your life around there. If you do, you still in the box, bro. You still in the cube. You are still a part of the Abraham or the Abrahamic religion. Because that's the whole system. So when it says God in you, it ain't talking about the supreme. It's not talking about the Paroma or the Peru. It's talking about a lower, a dumbed down disposition or demon. So remember, con men and women, they are themselves conned. So when you find somebody that's bad or evil or conning you, they probably don't know because they con themselves. When I was religion, I was saying, Jesus, I was downtown preaching, man, you're going to die and you're going to burn in hell. I was driving around in a car that says Jesus saved. And if you're not saved in the name of Jesus, you are fucking going to hell. You're going to burn forever. I didn't know what part of you was going to burn. I didn't do that much research, Dr. Martinet. I was just regurgitating what, excuse me, the shit that I was taught. How come I didn't do no research? Well, I was green. Well, what does that mean, not green? Well, that means that I did not have awareness. So how do you get awareness? Energy, time, and information. So when I started hanging out with the dominant culture, you know what I noticed? None of their kids read the same books that my kids read. They didn't go to the same schools. They didn't go to the same doctors. They didn't do none of the stuff that I did, even though they still was part of the dumbed down system. They were just a little less dumber than us black folks. Most of us black folks. Or me. I can speak for myself. I don't know about you. So I asked myself, hey, dominant culture, where do y'all get energy from? Why are you able to get more done in the 24 hours? We all got the same amount of time. And what is time? And then that's when I got into over the understanding that, hold up, wait a minute. The word September means, sept means 7. Oct, like the octagon, it means 8. Deca, December, means, 10. Well, why is it 12? How did we get away from lunar time? And why does the shell on the back of a turtle, every turtle has the same design? And it talks about time. Then I researched and hold up. There's 13 zodiac signs. So I wrote a whole book because I was so blown away at Ophiuchus. And I redid the zodiac signs, and I found out that Virgo is really August the 23rd through September the 22nd. And if you go on the internet, you're going to get to different times. So Ophiuchus starts November the 22nd through December the 21st. Sagittarius is December the 22nd through what they call undecember. It's the original text. Instead of the word December, it's UNDECIBER. Undecem. I never heard of that. And then from undecem, the 22nd, through the 19th. So what are you saying, Doc? Well, I'm saying that there's a whole other time system. There's a whole other way of keeping time. We got the Greco-Roman time. But the Greco-Roman time wasn't always time. Then etymology of the word sun, I came out to the number 9. The etymology of the word God, 9. The etymology of the word current, 9. The etymology, the numerology of the number love, converted, 9. The word thought, you get the word 9. There's certain words, they all come out to the number 9. Those are high vibrational words. So I started focusing on the nine ether. And it's crazy, brothers and sisters, how each and every person is totally given, let's say, bad information. And I don't know if it's bad. Let's just say it's not good. It's not 100% information that leads to transformation. It's crazy because each and every person on this call, we don't question our information. Well, how come? How come we don't question the information? We just take it at first at face value. How come? Why why don't we question the nature of our reality? It's interesting that, especially when we're younger, the type of information that we receive, we never ask. The question is, how does this information personally benefit me? Meaning, how does this information help me pay my light bill on time? How does this information keep me from getting high blood pressure? How does this information make me more conscious awareness, aka what we call smart? How does this information allow me to operate in a better relationship and connect with other people? That makes me, easy to talk to, makes me valued, loved, and respected. It also helps me to get along with other people. It's interesting that the information that we receive is not questioned. And it's even more interesting that the older we get, and there's still people that's walking around that's never stopped and questioned the nature of their own reality. Well, whatever your reality is, whatever your belief system is, doesn't matter what it is. The only thing that matters is that you question it and that you prove it to yourself. What I found out, the dominant culture, they do that better, even though the system is set up for them to do that better, which is why they do it better. But they only do it better in their system. When somebody in the dominant culture starts to question the dominant culture, they usually leave the dominant culture because they realize that the dominant culture is built up on a system of non-truth. That's how members of the dominant culture exit the dominant culture. That's what we're talking about. That's energy. That's a system that's based upon time and information. That's what energy is. Sodium and potassium is based upon a system of electricity and magnetism. So electricity and magnetism, we could call an entity. That entity is what we can also call a integer. That's a number. So numbers are also called, a integer, which is the same as an entity. So letters and numbers are converted to control function. So the structure of the letter and the number determines and creates the function of the life. That's why they use what we call, or what they call, codes, symbols, sigils, signs, runes. It's runic magic. It's Nordic, Celtic culture that controls the frequency waves of the vibration. So it is organized or systematic, the whole frequency. And that gets into some very hard stuff that we're going to, talk about this year. Because the frequency of the planet is flawed. So you cannot, remember, the only three things that brings about neurogenesis, to the transmutation of the soul, the transmutation of all energy. You sending me bad energy, Thank you. I'm going to transmute it into good. You send me good energy. Thank you. I'm going to transmute it into good. When I lose, I win. When I win, I win. See, no weapon formed against me can prosper. All who rise up against me get their ass whooped. It's simple. This is vibrational warfare we're in, brothers and sisters. But you are the converter. So that means, how can you even operate in a state of concern? I don't understand fear. I really don't. Now, when I was a kid, I was probably, I tell you guys, I used to urinate and defecate on myself in elementary school. Because I saw things that I could not explain when I was a kid. I just couldn't. I was 5 years old. I remember seeing the Minotaur, and I remember seeing like these red eyes in the sleep. And my grandparents would because, my mom died when I was young. I didn't live with my father. So the little time I spent with my grandmother, she used to ask me, how come you just don't go to the restroom? I said, baby, Mom, it's under my bed. I said, what's under your bed? My brother and sister was like, boy, your ass don't go to the restroom. That's what you were afraid of. Nobody could see what I could. I don't know why I saw what I saw, but I did. Then I had a son. And we took him to doctors, and they said, well, he got a cloudy kidney. I said, what the hell is that? I said, well, now that he's an adult, he said, Dad, I just peed in the bed because I was afraid to get out of the bed because I could see shit that nobody else could see. I said, Kendrick, how can you tell me, man? I did the same thing when I was a kid. The sins of the fathers passed down to the son to the third and the fourth generation. If he had a son, guess what he's not going to do? Same shit. Until somebody learns how to transmit the energy. To realize there's only one power that is manipulated into many different interpretations based upon your framing, based upon how you perceive, because you project your perception onto reality, and you literally mold reality based upon your perception, not based upon reality. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. So I'm going to ask you again, who are you, and why are you choosing to play the character of Poe Critter? Why would you choose? You can be any character that you want. You can write any script. You do not have to be a non-player character in your own life. Why would you be the guy or the girl that dies in the first act of a 12-act play? Why would you write a script like that? Or why would you allow someone to write the script for you? That's called religion. So no, brothers and sisters, I write my own fucking script. I'm not following no Negro's program. This is my own program. Everything that I do is proprietary. I created this shit myself. I'd rather live in the era that I created instead of the era that you give me. If I crash and burn, I'm crashing and burning on my own merit. So no, I'm not a moral person. I do admiralty, or what they call, because this is their system. They created this harmonious arrangement. And they are using maritime law and admiralty law, not moral law. Most niggas I know talking about morality. And they broke as fuck. So yeah, you can be moral or you can understand the game. I ain't saying you gotta like it, but I say you gotta transmute it. You gotta take what the enemy means for evil, and you gotta turn it around and use it for good. That's in your Bible too. So the whole point in 2024 is 2024 equals 8. And 8 is a plane of inertia between two Ouroboros. Ouroboros is order out of chaos. It's the snake swallowing its own tail. You ever seen a dog chasing his tail? What does it look like? Kind of comical, right? It looks like kind of stupid. Well, that's you when you don't collapse the plane of inertia. In closing, once again, this is very important if you want to win. The dominant culture uses 3 things that you got to master: energy, time, and information. And if you do not master energy, time, and information, which is another way of saying attention, value, and support, which is another way of saying effort, confusion, and doubt. It's a law of 3. That's what we call it the Trinity, which for us, it means we live in a word bank. You must make word deposits. So you can engage in word transactions. So I'm using words because I know the Bible says in the beginning was words. That's what it says. And these words was with God. And these words were God. So words are God's. So that means you must become a maestro or a master or a mistress of wordology or etymology. That is mental. So you must over and understand past, present, and future. Your mental nutrients determines your mental conversation, which leads to a mental manifestation. It's all mental. That's why every guru and non-guru on the planet says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You literally bring about what you think about. Another way that I've learned, which is the most empowering and sad thing that I've ever learned from all the gurus, and like I'll tell you guys about my boy John Tillison and, Dexter Yeager and, Nick and Sandy that took me under their wings and taught me a lot of this stuff. Okay. That taught me a lot of this stuff. And they all, again, were Caucasian. I was 19, 20-year-old kid. I didn't know shit about nothing. To this day, I still wrestle with why me. I mean, I'm thankful that I get it twisted. But they saw something in me. They taught me how to create a corporation and how to take the corporation and sell stock. How I raised $100,000 in a week. They taught me the game of Admiralty law, maritime law, the law of the sea. They did not teach me morality. That's why Negroes are very moral. Go to church, Negroes, every Sunday. Packed in church. We are very moral. But we are not very admirable. We do not operate in the laws of this frequency. I'm not telling you to become the laws. I'm just telling you, if you're playing football, you might want to learn the game. The game of football is kill the man with the ball, basically. Basketball is a non-contact sport. You cannot take the rules of football and apply them to the game of basketball. That's what the average Negro is doing. Non-Negroes too, but mainly, I just happen to be black, so, I'm just speaking from my culture and my perspective. If I was white, I'd be using that term. I can only talk to you based upon my experiences. This shit is not about race, man. But if I was Japanese, I would be talking to you and using those analogies based upon my life experiences. The world we live in is based upon your personal experiences. That's your personal brand. Married and coupled with your culture and your education. You should create your products, your services, and your information and put it into an irresistible offer and live your life by design, not by desire. So that way you no longer are operating in complacency. I can't be complacent because my product is my personality. My personality is my purpose. They're all the same. There's no separation. You cannot find my personality and separate it from my purpose. So that's why my mind is literally collapsed on a selected point of focus. Where the past, the present, and the future, bam, they all collapse on one specific point. And I'm the best in the world at who I be, not what I do. That simply means I love me. I ain't changing for nobody. Why? I ain't flawed. I don't need to be fixed. I don't need no 12-step program. I ain't trying to change shit. I monetize my flaws. My problems, that's my products. My most pressing problem is my most profitable product. That's why I do destiny reports. Because I ain't have one. So you got to elevate in love with yourself Otherwise, you are destined to be someone else. Most people are too busy being someone else that they cannot be themselves. You see, brothers and sisters, if you are not arrogant, if you're not cocky, if you're not rebellious, if you don't ask questions, you're just fucking getting along, just going along with the latest, greatest, or whatever's coming out, then you're not real. You're not authentic. I can always tell a real person from a non-real person because they don't create, publish, and profit. So I'm asking you, what have you created today? What are you going to create today? What are you going to publish today? Because that determines how you're going to profit tomorrow. You see, brothers and sisters, the energy or the power to create a better future is contained within this present moment. Right now, you have to boost your energy. You literally have to stay connected to the divine, or what we call source. Because your job is to infuse energy into me and everybody that you meet. I love hanging out with people that elevate my consciousness. I answer my phone based upon your level of elevation. When a low vibrational like keep it on calls me, they get voicemail. When a high vibrational like keep it on calls me, I pick up the phone. Why? They always leave me feeling better than I was feeling before I picked up the call. You should choose to be that person. The word personal means pure, sun, all. This is personal. Everything I do is fucking personal. I would rather transition than live in a world with a bunch of fake, scared, broke, non-creative people. See, your personality is your pure, S-U-N-A-L-L. You should be pure. You should be sending out information, and you should be approachable, warm, just like the sun, because that's what you are. You are a son of the sun. So, brothers and sisters, I love you, even though sometimes it may not sound like it, but I do, because I see you. I see you. It's just like going to the ICU, intensive care unit. I don't like the word care, but hey, it rhymes with what I'm saying. That means you should operate. Don't go to. Be very intense. Be a very caring, for lack of a better term, aka compassionate you. I see you. I love you, and you can do about it. We'll see you guys later on tonight. God bless.